Alright, so welcome to this video. Today I have a game played by Ricardo, Calvo, Minguez, and Ulf Andersson. Ulf Andersson was a famous player in the 1980s. He was known for his rook endgames, I believe. And in this video I want to go over a fragment. I was analyzing some games, and well, this really caught my eye. This particular fragment up until the end. We're already at move 64, so a lot of the game has already been played. But yeah, this moment is already useful to take in, and what happens afterwards is even more interesting. So we see this bishop is doing absolutely great. It has great scope. It has maybe some ideas to attack over here. These pawns can be targets for it. In addition, yeah, black just simply is a pawn up, and it is a passed pawn. So in that regard, black is doing fine. Maybe it can be blockaded. Knight on d5, for instance, could maybe save white. It's not over, of course, this game yet. It still has to be won. Um, but in general, white's position is pretty dire. If you look at the state of this knight currently, um, white's king is relatively centralized, but black's king is just a tad bit better. Um, yeah, and generally just being a pawn down is pretty bad. So in this moment, I want you to pause, take a look at the position, and come up with a good idea of how to continue. It is black to play, and he can play a really devastating move with which he gains a lot of active play. So take a moment, and I'm assuming now you've done it or you just want to watch the rest of the video, so I'm going to continue. Black in the game played the best move, bishop takes b4, and after bishop takes b4 there's really not much else than recapturing. There's no in-between checks or maybe some counterplay somewhere on the board, so the only way to see and to continue this game is to take back that bishop. And now white of course has a material advantage, but reminiscent of a recent video, we see how clumsy the knight is in defense against two passed pawns, but quickly this will become three passed pawns, and that is just in terms of material that should be equal, but in general in the end game we will see how clumsy this knight once again is. So the logical continuation here is to push that knight away, and in doing so black has made an access square on c4 to come into, and just to pick up another pawn. And yeah, white has to save his knight. His knight was attacked, of course, and now black simply has three passed pawns, and that's a lot of passed pawns. Black shows good technique once again, bringing his king very close to the queening square for the c-pawn, and he's going to aid his pawns along. Okay, in this moment, white gives black a check, and the king has to move. But white has no time to pick up the e-pawn, because after that black would simply promote. So this is obviously losing for white. So he must go the other way. Instead of taking that pawn, he tries to blockade the b pawn. But now, seeing as black has three passed pawns, okay, one of them is blockaded, the other one cannot move, the c pawn, because that is covered by the knight. Well, black can push his other pawn, try to distract either the king or the knight. Well, in this case, the knight is distracted, and now another great move by Ulf. He simply pushes his e-pawn anyway. And if this is taken, then we can play a move like b4, and well, there is simply no defense now. Let's just play a move like knight c4. Well, it is difficult to stop the pawn push c3, c2 now. So okay, that's why in the game knight d4 was played, in order to try to hold on some way on this square. The knight is defending all these points, b3 c2 b3 c2 and e2, and maybe hopes to constrain all these passed pawns, but there are simply too many. Black can push, and white wants to lose a move, but now king b2, and very soon white will need to give up some material. Here white resigned, but let's say a move would have been played, like knight c2, then you can see that in this type of position, in order to prevent, at least temporarily prevent promotion, white has to give up material, but once again black will promote. So I thought that was a very entertaining piece of work to watch. Seemingly this sacrifice comes out of nowhere, but it simply works very well, and it does multiple things. It creates an amount of passed pawns which is difficult to handle concretely in this situation by the knight, and at the same time black will pick up another passed pawn, and well, these two connected passed pawns on B and C are just so strong. But in addition, the passed pawn we had before, this combination is just devastating. So yeah, very instructive play by Wolf Andersson. I hope you got something out of that.